Anthony, Tony Disilvestro coming live from, are you in Virginia Beach right now?
Hey, yep, I'm in Virginia Beach. Loving it. Beautiful day here.
Lovely. It's raining here. Tony's actually a Jersey boy. You grew up in Wildwood? Is that right?
Crest and then Wayne, New Jersey, yeah.
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 Awesome. And you made your way down to Virginia in
91.
91.
Yeah.
And when did you open Great Neck?
93.
93.
Yeah, we actually found it in 91, had to wait 2 years for the lease to come available, and then we opened in 93.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I started working for Tony right around that time. I was about 16 years old. My mom and stepfather had bought a house in the area where he opened his first place. And do you remember how I ended up working for you?
Where'd you go?
Where'd you go?
I don't know. I lost you for a second.
Still there? Don't worry. The listeners can hear. It's your internet. You're down there in the podunk. You got that bad internet.
I guess.
I was saying how Sue and George bought a place near you, and that's how I ended up becoming familiar with your restaurant. But do you remember what brought me through the door the first time?
I don't remember. I really don't. It's too long ago. I'm old now.
Cute little employee of yours, she's probably listening right now, named Jennifer Stratweiser.
I'm sure she is.
So my girlfriend was, at the time, my high school girlfriend was working at his restaurant, and she was telling me about all the fun people that work there, especially the fun guys that were so nice to her. And I was like, oh, really? I'm gonna see if they're hiring, because I had a little restaurant experience already. And then
We all need motivation.
Yeah, and the rest was history.
There you go.
Her and I didn't last long, but Tony and I, we.
Well, the cool part is I both have an amazing relationship with both of you. So
she's great. She's wonderful. The whole Stratweiser clan. Bill's always been super awesome to me. Maggie as well. So,
no doubt.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, I got my start, my real start. I'd worked at a couple of restaurants prior to that, but Tony really gave me my wings. That was your first restaurant that you opened in the Great Neck section of Virginia Beach, correct?
Yes.
Y-Not Pizza. It was about maybe 1,000 square feet, right?
Yeah, 1,600.
1,600, something like that. Very New York style. I'm sitting in mine right now. Tony's actually never been here, but this is my little joint in Brooklyn. It's small, and it reminds me so much of that, just the size and the feel of the way things were back then when we were first getting started. And then from there, how many restaurants have you opened since 93?
Heck, I've opened probably 10 or 12 of them. We have 6 right now that we have with 450 employees, and it's just craziness, having fun.
Right. And so the second one was the one at the oceanfront.
Right.
And then a number of others locally, Green Run, Providence. That was through the end of the 90s. Right.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. We went to 6 locations and brought in partners, and then eventually decided to scale back down to 2 restaurants and franchise the company. So we got some structure in the company, and then we're back up to 6 and now getting ready to open up in multiple states. So
nice. Excellent. And you got your start really kind of working up and down the East Coast, especially in the summer times, working the seasonal oceanfront resorts in Delaware, Maryland, and
Delaware, Jersey, Maryland. I worked in 20 different restaurants before I opened my first.
Right. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. And I would say one of the things that I learned, I was already a hard worker, but Tony really helped me focus that energy back as a wild youth. Tell them about the dreadlock days. Everybody wants to know, were they the ugliest things you've ever seen?
Well, they're pretty ugly. But you know what was cool? It's like, it didn't really matter what you looked like, or, your work ethic was just amazing. And from a young kid, I loved what you said online today, man. I'm honored for even to see those words attached to my name. But to be honest with you, when you have an entrepreneur, and you were an easy subject. I mean, when you're a built entrepreneur like you are, there's nothing to it, because your passion, your drive, it's you, it's who you are. So, it's like a chef, you start out with bad ingredients, you have to be a really great chef. When you start out with great ingredients, it's not as difficult to make a great meal. So you were a great ingredient, and you can see today why we're on this together. And I am so honored to be with you today and to be blessed to be in this company.
Absolutely, man. No, 100%. I've been trying to, I was planting this seed for a while. It took a freaking pandemic to get him on the show though. Cause we always, you know, record live in Manhattan in the studio, and my guests sit across the table from me, you know, and I know you're up here a lot, and I was kept like, when are you going to be in New York? When are you going to be in New York? And but this is what it took. This is making a lot of interesting things happen, but, it's funny. I just really remember ignoring a lot of things that you said, and you being like so frustrated with me back when we were both just babies at the time. But I remember testing your nerves.
To that point, it's funny. I'm training my staff right now. I had all my owners with me the other day, and one of the most difficult things for these entrepreneurs, and you know, they're quasi entrepreneurs, you know, because they really came into a business that was already established. But one of the most difficult things that they have is to develop other people. And to develop other people, you have to let people fail. And that was the hard part. And with you being an entrepreneur, you failed every day. Because
you give me,
because you wouldn't listen, because you're hard at it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's made you a great entrepreneur, because you can, you know, it's like the Wild Wild West. They went across country without even knowing what they were going into. These were pure entrepreneurs in our country in the beginning. And that's who you were. But in the beginning, so for somebody like me to take you and have somebody disagree with me all the time, it takes a lot for an owner or an entrepreneur to see that talent, because typically somebody that's not an entrepreneur would fire you.
Yeah, well, make sure you tell your current staff, be like, that guy, he's the one who made it easier for you all, because
exactly, you paved the way.
There was some battles.
Like a pioneer.
You made me cry.
I'm not proud of that, trust me.
No, it's all right. It was I take full responsibility for that.
You were a little
what's that?
You were a little emotional.
Yeah, still am a little bit. But one of the things that it's come up I've asked a lot of guests, and this is really interesting for me to see where you've gone and the route you're taking lately. When did the idea, like, and actually the word entrepreneur come into your crosshairs, where it was something you were like, oh, I resonate with that. That's me. I get that.
So at 8 years old, I opened my first business. You probably don't even know this, but at 8 years old, I went to a wholesale candy shop down the shore in Jersey. You know, I'd grown up in Wildwood Crest. It was 4 months of hurry and 8 months of worry. So from a young age, I was taught that, you know, you have to make your money in 4 months, because the winter's going to be really cold and you're not going to have any food. So at 8 years old, I went into this wholesale candy shop and was with my friend Robbie Rosenfeld, good Jewish boy, you know, teaching me business. And we went down to this wholesale candy shop, bought Snickers, all this bubble gum, and it was fun. We went on the ocean front, we set up tables, and we used to sell candy bars to people coming off the beach. So realistically, you know, and when did I realize it? I was born with it. I had no idea. You know, as a kid, I asked a million questions. They used to call me Observing Junior, because I would ask too many questions, like a damn sponge. But I think
I still ask too many questions.
I know. I think it was just built in me. And then at 9 years old, I was selling Mexican pottery from my mom's macrame shop. So at 9 years old, I was pushed into a sales position. And I mean, child labor, they were paying me $10 a week for 60 hours a week. But I learned a lot of great lessons.
I don't pay my kids.
I do. All my kids have all worked in the restaurant. You know that. So.
Yeah, of course. No, mine too. I just haven't paid them yet. I feed them.
Entrepreneurship, I think, Jeremiah, I think it has to be within you. Not to say that you can't teach a kid or pull entrepreneurship out of somebody. They may not realize that they're an entrepreneur, but sometimes it takes people like you and I to really drive that and find that talent, because so many people are looked over or degraded and not given that opportunity to grow. And I think that's the most important thing as business owners. We need to let these people grow around us.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree that, you know, for me, it was innate. I was hustling and doing stuff for my grandfather, and then started out on my own pretty young, and nobody kind of had to teach me that part. But more specifically, when, like, the actual title entrepreneur, was that something you heard? Like, I know you took like a few business classes when like fresh out of high school. Was that something talked about when you were young and coming up? Was that term thrown around? Because for me, I didn't hear, really, it didn't register with me until maybe like 10 years ago when we were doing a little pop-up here in our neighborhood. And when the guy came into the wine store and he was like, "Oh, you're a regular entrepreneur." And I thought he was insulting me. I was like, "The fuck What are you talking about, man? Like, when did that term land on your plate and you realize, like, I'm not just a business owner? I know you always knew you were more than just a business owner, but when did that idea really kick in with you? Because for me, I was old.
Probably 6 months into owning my first restaurant, when I almost lost it and I couldn't pay my bills, I said, holy shit. I said, there's nobody behind me. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I own a business and I'm responsible 100%. And I think that's a hard thing for people to realize. And I think if you took on a partner today and put them into business, I don't think we'll ever know that. We'll never realize that. And that's the thing. I think when you become an entrepreneur and you open your first business from scratch and it's your pure idea and you're the founder, you know it right away.
Yeah.
Everybody's depending on you. And people don't realize it's such a lonely life being an entrepreneur, because, I mean, everybody's looking at you for the answers and there's nobody helping you. And that's the biggest thing. And I think that's why we're on this radio station today, is to see if we can help entrepreneurs get to that point that they have a voice. They have some. Back to my poor internet service isn't working very well.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It comes in and out a little. Even Gary Vee, he says, man, fuck it, you got to keep going.
I agree. I love him. Yeah, I was just listening 2 minutes before we got on this call.
Oh, good. Man, I've had no time. I've been so busy, just running around and doing all the things and doing the hustle. Yeah, 100%. I think that's when I knew as well, when there was like nothing else behind me to catch me. Right. I mean, for me, like, I kind of wasn't paying attention because I'm a little bit of a space cadet. And in a way, it's funny. I can have like hyper focus on certain things, and then others, I'm just like, all these like mid 20-year-old guys that are working for me, they're looking at me for the answers, and I'm like, me? Wait, dude. And I'm looking behind me like, there's nobody back there. It's me. And then I totally felt like you. I was like, oh shit, like, here we are. That's it.
I don't know if it's true or not, but they say like most entrepreneurs have ADD, and I don't know. I always say I don't have ADD, but I mean, I know I'm crazy, but it's okay.
But I think you're the same. You're like, I watched you be so hyper focused on like one thing, and just when everybody else was like, I'm done, I can't do it, you were like, no, but you've always got like 75 other things. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You're like, not right now. I can't, it's just like we gotta put that aside. Yeah.
People always ask me, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't write anything down. Like,
me either.
I have 5 different businesses and a million things going on. They're like, how do you remember all this? I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, why are you always telling me to write stuff down if you don't do it?
Just always trying to make sure we're diligent.
I know. All right, we're going to take a little quick break. We'll be back in like 60 seconds, all right?
Cool, man.
Kick back, relax. We'll be back in just a minute, everybody. Listen to the Entrepreneurial Web.